So guess what? We have a big announcement. Our tiny house had a baby. What should we name it?
Well, how about what should we name our tiny house? We don't even have a name for...
We need to name that too. So
Big Green?
We should name our tiny house, but we're going to name the baby.
Right.
She had a baby. And so let's go check a look at the baby. It's our newborn. My sons and I put this together in about 4 hours one day out here in the snow. And then Anissa and our youngest son insulated the inside of it while my oldest son and I did the shingling on the top. So we kind of banged it together real fast. And so let me show you why we built it. And so I think just before we step in there, let's just kind of get a look at what's all going on here. We have our transformer. This is our power coming in from the power company. And then we put our 200 amp meter base right over there. And we have a 20 amp circuit over there that's live. So we've got a couple of extension cords coming back over here to these two buildings right now while we're still in the process of putting our electrical systems in here. But let's see why we built this.
Why don't you tell us what size it is?
Oh, so it's 8 by 8 by 8. It's 8 by 8 square and 8 feet tall at the peak. And it's obviously a barn, looks like a little barn. It's a baby barn. And so we made it very small for a reason. We wanted to keep it tight in here. We have to insulate and heat it because of what's in here. And it's a very important component to our living here. So let's see what's going on inside. Okay, inside the tiny, the baby. So as you can see, it's cozy. We've got 2x4 construction, R13 insulation all the way around. You got a 3-foot door, outside door, and this is a combination of things that we're going to be using this building for. The primary purpose of this building is this is going to be our well house. Our well is about 420 feet away from here, but we brought our water line from the well and our power to the pump right here. This is going out. This is an outgoing water line to our frost-free hydrant, which is just outside the building over here. So we have a outside spigot. And then this one is actually the one going over to the tiny house. So we have power, or water going into there.
And then the other.
And then this is our power coming in from the power pedestal you saw a minute ago. And we're going to hook up enough power, which is, this is our sub panel. So we're going to be feeding that into there. It's going to get mounted. It's upside down right now. And we're going to have a circuit for our pump, so we can run power to our pump and pump water up. And then we're going to have a pressure tank sitting here in the corner. And the well control panel, which is going to be what turns the water on or power on and off to the pump. And the pressure tank and the pressure switch. So that's all, you have to have that in order to use a well. And then we're going to feed power out of here into the tiny house, which is about 6 feet over from this building. And that'll give us power in here, power in there. And we're going to have a heater in here. We have a light in here. And then we're also using this space for our little freezer. So we put a freezer in here. So right now we temporarily have power in here because we brought a extension cord over from our 20 amp circuit, so we can keep this turned on and have a light in here when we walk in.
And why do we want that turned on?
Because we have a pig in here. Want to see it? There it is. We had
best bacon in the world.
We had a pig custom raised for us this year by our kids, and we just 2 or 3 days ago.
All natural, grass-fed, grain-fed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 2 days ago.
Super good stuff right there. We had bacon for breakfast today out of there. I tried to talk my kids into thinking it was no good. They need to give it all to me, but they didn't buy it. I think they already tasted it.
So we built this bigger building so that we could have
we get a little bit extra space in here because, again, little house, and so we need a little extra space. This is not going to fit in there because it's a little bit more room out here.
And we have another freezer that's a little bigger than that too to put in here. Yeah,
so we'll have a couple of those. Always good to have 2 freezers. One breaks, you don't lose everything. So we do that, and then we can stock that with, when we get good sales on various things at the store, we can fill it up and save some money and have a nice stock of food on hand. Right now we could just leave the lid open because it's about 25 degrees outside. Probably save us money just doing that. And then we got some other stuff here. We got some bird feed and some deer feed because we like to do that. So that's kind of sitting in here. And we'll probably put some shelving in here so we can set some things that can take, well, it'll be warm. We'll have a heater in here so we can put whatever we want in here. But this is our baby, the baby tiny house. And I don't know if we might wrap it with plastic. I don't know if we'll get around to putting wall covering on this or not, but it's serving its purpose, which is
eventually we'll probably put wall covering on it.
Keeping our well right now. Primarily to keep our well components from freezing because we don't want to have that happen, so we don't have water. So that's what the big
Once
deal
we get
is
the
there.
house built next year, we'll move our freezers up there and our dry storage. So this will be a little more utility, maybe a garden shed, but we'll probably wind up siding the walls with something, I don't know, OSB, whatever we decide.
Yeah, so it's always nice to have a little bit more space so you can utilize it. And if you're going to build a building, you might as well make it multi-purpose, get the most out of the building you can, and for the buck. And so we popped this together in less than a day, and now we got to get the well controls and power set up in here. We're going to run power out of here over to the building next door, so we'll have power in both and we'll be in business.
And right now this is kind of helping us out because this is actually getting us heat and power into where we're temporarily living in our other tiny house.
So we don't know if we're coming or going sometimes because we're sleeping in the van at night.
Right here.
Because we have a bed in there. So that was a little bit of a purpose-built thing. We bought this year and a half ago, I guess. And so we knew we were going to be doing some projects and we wanted to be able to kind of have our RV a little bit self-contained. So we got a bed and a fridge and potty and all that business in there. And it's not really good this time of year. We're running 2 heaters in there at night, so it's a 2-heater van, which is keeping it warm enough to be comfortable to sleep in overnight. And then during the day we go back into the tiny house where we got more space. We bring our heaters over there from over here, and we keep that warm so we can work in there, and we cook and work and just kind of live out of that. So we're bouncing back and forth between the two. Okay. And you can kind of see a little of the background here. We're in a very heavily forested piece of property. You really can't see the property because you can't see the forest of trees, about 10,000 of them. And beautiful backdrop. It's beautiful out here at night because there's no light out here. You can see the stars like crazy. We can hear the wildlife out here. It's nice and quiet, very serene, very private, and we're really enjoying it even though it's very cold right now because it's winter. So we got a lot of projects going on. Anyway, here we are. Tiny house had a baby. What should we name it?